Zoom land, hello Facebook land, so good to see you. It's Emily here and beautiful Sharon is here to demo today. So on Tuesday I saw some of you and what we were working on was switching off the autopilot. Don't worry, today we are not going to be doing crazy vinyasas where I ask you to do push-ups and from back bends back to chaturanga, but we are going to work a little bit more on certain aspects of that autopilot again. And it's not so much an autopilot thing, but just a plateau that we get very used to how we step to the top of the mat into crescent lunge from down dog, for example. And so we're going to work on our tiger curls a little bit. For the most part, this practice is going to be about spinal flexion, how you curve the spine, and then doing the contrasting movement, how you open the spine. And of course, throughout the practice, I'll give you options if you want to keep it simpler, work stronger. And last weekend we did a lot of spinal extension, whereas this week we're going to balance it out, do some similar movements but with the opposite movement. All right, so good morning guys, so lovely to see you. We can begin on our backs, but before we begin, the other thing I'll mention is if you have a block, fantastic, but what this block will serve a purpose of in this practice is something to step over. So it can be a water bottle might roll away. It's not the most ideal, but a book is a fantastic idea. Any kind of book, but ideally with some thickness. And I think that's the main prop you'll need, something to step over. And if you did want a rolled up towel or something like that handy, something that you can lay over to start the practice, but you can even use a block. We're just gonna start in that spinal extension or back bend position. So Sharon, it's up to you if you're happy to use the block or you can grab a blanket, whatever works. We'll get started on your backs and it's up to you if you want to bring soles of the feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana or if you want to stretch the legs out long, whatever feels best for you. So good morning. I want you to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Notice that opening and broadness across the chest as you're placing that prop underneath your back. So ideally, that prop is not digging into the shoulder blades. It's somewhere closer to the mid-back or a place where it's not pressing into the bones of those blades. And this is just to open up the front body, as today's practice will be a combo practice, working on spinal flexion, how much you can curve the spine, and this movement, extension, how much you can open and lengthen. I want you in your own time to take a big inhale through your nose, release through your mouth, and again, inhale, release. Once more, inhale, release. And now I want you to start breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. So as you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, as you're in an extension, sometimes that means breathing deeply can be a little more challenging. So if possible, really sending that breath with intention down into the low lungs. And we'll work with a little bit of breath retention today. So I want you in your own time to exhale the air through the nose. And breathing in, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, in, pause, out, Pause. In. Pause. Out. Pause. Breathing in. And just allow your breath to take a more comfortable rhythm, a more natural rhythm. And with this last handful of breaths here, if you feel as though you might like to lengthen those arms past the ears or open up the armpits more toward the ceiling to get more extension, you can, but of course it's optional. We live a life where we're curved over tasks, whether it be in seat at desks, whether it be in the car at the steering wheel, or over a bench top. And to take this shape, this extension, is very useful for the modern spine. When you're ready, I want you to perhaps roll side to your side off that prop, and I want you to remove that prop from underneath your back. And just as you lay back on the floor, I want you to notice how your back connects with the floor now. It doesn't matter what your legs do, just do something that's instinctive. Notice any sensation in the back. And when you're ready, you can bend your knees in towards your body. We take the opposite movement, a flexion. So you hug those legs in. If it feels good to stay still, you can stay still. If it feels good to rock, you can rock. And gently tucking the chin in toward the chest, just noticing what it is if you lift your head towards your knees. How does that feel, that counter movement, that flexion of your spine? Very good. Relax your head, neck and shoulders to the floor. Keep your right knee pulled in towards your chest. Stretch your left leg out toward the top of your mat. Spinal twist. Your left hand takes hold of the knee and you take that leg across the body. So as you're rotating here, opening up that right arm and if possible, connecting that right shoulder back down toward the floor. Deepen your breaths into your ribs. For 3. For 2. Very good. Bringing that knee back to center in your own time. We switch. Left knee hugs in. Right leg stretches out. And take your time to squeeze that leg in before you work into, that spinal twist. Yeah, nice. Sharon's just adjusting her hips a little bit. You might feel as though you need to do the same. See how you feel. So as you're working the spinal twist on this side, you notice any difference between this side and the other. Just a couple more deep breaths. Wonderful. When you're ready, bringing yourself back to center, both knees hug in, and happy baby of any variation. So whether you're wanting to take hold of ankles or even the backs of the thighs, or yes, whether you can reach the feet. If you feel as though you want to rock a little from side to side, please do. Now you haven't done any hamstrings yet today, so don't worry if it's a challenge to take hold of your feet. If it's a bit much, you can hold anywhere along the legs. Wonderful. One more full breath. Long exhale. Wonderful. Now take your hands behind your knees. We're going to rock back and forth, brief Navasana. Yes, beautiful. So you can rock as little as much as you like. Sharon has landed beautifully. So as you're coming into that Navasana, whether your legs are bent, straight, irrelevant, what we're starting to work here is a little bit of core. Also your hip flexors start to engage, and they are important today. Keep your sternum lifted. Breathe into your back for 3, for 2. Wonderful. Let the ankles cross. Over you go. Hands and knees. Or even just sweep the legs around. So tabletop. So when you're ready, coming over to that tabletop position, and we're going to open up with a little bit of cat-cow. So you can just mobilize your spine, whether you're working forward and back, dropping the belly, inhale, open, and then pulling up through that navel. So this is a very important movement today. When you're really rounding through that spine, push the floor away, round, round, round. Beautiful. So ideally today we're getting a lot of spinal flexion when we round that back in that cat, tuck the chin in and pull up through the tummy. Very good. Just doing another full round after this one. One more to inhale and open. And exhale to round. And we are going to do a bit of stability work. So once you come back to neutral, lengthen your right leg to the back of the room. And that's it. Floating that right foot off the floor. Very active through that right foot. Taking an inhale, you lengthen. Exhale, you curl, knee to nose, round and really tuck. Inhale, lengthen your extension. And exhale, you tuck your flexion. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, tuck. Very good. Inhale, lengthen out. Now your left arm might lengthen forward. If this is too much, you skip it. Your exhale, you tuck, knee to nose, left elbow to left hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, you tuck. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck. Now this time, exhale, lengthen. And you can feel free to just stay in this extension or bend the knees, sweep the hand back. And yes, you might take hold of that foot. And if you can get that foot today, do kick that foot up toward the ceiling, opening up through the chest, opening up through the hips. And of course, working that stability for 3, for 2. Well done. Lengthen out once more, forward and back. And hand and knee to the floor. And if you feel as though you want to wiggle out or roll out the back, or just, you've really just switched on a lot of muscles, any adjustments might be welcome. Wonderful. And in your own time, second side, your left leg lengthens about just the leg. Exhale, you tuck when you're ready. Inhale, you lengthen, extend. Exhale, you flex. Now really tuck in. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Good, Sharon. Inhale, kick back. And exhale, you tuck. Beautiful. With this extension back, option to raise the right arm. Inhale. Exhale, tuck. Very good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck. Inhale for length. Last tuck. Very good. The next time you lengthen, option to keep that extension or bend the knee, sweep the hand back. And yes, if you can find that foot, I know, good morning, where is the foot? Kick that foot up and back, opening up the chest and getting that spinal extension for 3. How are you breathing? Often when we're in a balance, we hold the breath to send that breath deeper. Well done. Reach forward and back. And hand and knee to the floor, and any adjustments for your spine, welcome. We'll take a brief child's pose in your own time. Whether you choose to split the knees wide or keep the knees together is irrelevant. Just lengthening out through that spine. Breathe into your back. Just noticing what that stability sequence did for you. Notice any sensations. If there's any warmth building internally. One more full breath into your back. Your destination, downward facing dog in your own time. So once you come back to that down dog, if any movements call you, feel free to make any adjustments or movement. If stillness calls you, stay in stillness. Keep the fingers spread nice and wide to support the wrists. Just noticing how it feels through hamstrings, how it feels through spine. So this is a spinal extension, a lengthening of your spine. So when you ripple forward now into high plank, you're working that flexion. And then rolling dog, bend the knees, bottom to heels, back to extension. Ripple forward, round the spine, it's almost like cat, and then bend the knees, stretch back, you lengthen. Very good, keep that rolling going, rolling forward, cat pose almost. Bend and back. And as you roll here, you're getting lighter and lighter, yes, on those toes. From down dog, you change direction. The knees bend first, you come forward through that plank, and that's it. So you're almost going through that cat pose to roll back. Wonderful. Building that little bit of internal heat. One more roll here. Down dog when you are ready. Walking your hands to the back of your mat now. Taking a half lift, inhale you lengthen, and exhale you fold. and just hanging out in this spinal flexion, this curving of your spine. The first real introduction will wake up your hamstrings as well. So that's it. You can choose movement, choose stillness, let that head hang. I will invite you to take your hands behind your head. It's an invitation, and just cradling that head and lengthening through your neck. So there might almost be a little bit of pressure on the head, downward pressure to lengthen through your neck. Just 2 more breaths. So yoga is a practice of constant moving from spinal flexion to extension. Release your arms. Let's slowly roll up. Arms will reach up and wide. We come into the extension. Heart up, open. And exhale, you fold once more back into your flexion. Walk your hands forward, plank position. Very good. We hold the plank a little longer here. Breathe into your back. We need a little more stability work today, so I want you from here, and if this is a little strong, you do the same thing on your knees. From here, hovering your right foot a centimeter off the floor. Good control, Sharon. Well done. She's got much closer to a centimeter than most people, I'm sure. Well done. Foot down. Inhale, lift left foot. Just hover it off the floor. And if you're doing this on knees, it's just hovering your left knee. Very good. Foot down, and then shoulders past the wrists, knees to the floor. Slow motion, your belly all the way as you lower via that chaturanga. Belly down, low cobra, shoulders roll back. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, you lower. Inhale, you lift and lengthen, long neck. And exhale, you lower. Once more, inhale, lift. Now this time, keep the neck long. Option to hover the hands off the floor. Feeling that back strength starting to engage. Flying the hands by your side now. Option to clasp the hands behind your back. This is all optional layers. Option to float the feet. Shalabhasana, full locust. How's your breath? Feel that length in your spine and no crunching into the back of the neck for 3, 2, release. Drop an ear, drop the hands, and option to wiggle the booty out from side to side. Just noticing how the back muscles have responded. So we're going to work through our rolling cobra from here. So bringing your hands off the edge of your mat, also known as striking cobra, up on your fingertips or on your palms, lifting up. And when you're ready, working into that twist and the rolling through. So you're looking over each shoulder on the inhale, and that's it. On the exhale, dropping down. And it's up to you if you're sticking with half circles or if you're going full circles, whatever feels good. Waking up the sides of your back as you go through that extension. That's the beautiful things about our backs, our spines. They have capacity to twist and back bend at the same time. When you're ready, I want you to even out to the other side. Good work. And in your own time, back through center. One more brief child's pose. Let your chest lower, hands press into the floor and bottom back. And just noticing how it feels to go from that extension back to that flexion. So this is all ideally to get blood flowing to the spine. One more full breath into your back. Long exhale. When you're ready, downward facing dog. Take your time. From your down dog, I want you again to ripple forward through plank position on your inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Back bend your inhale. Down dog, exhale. Lovely. So from your downward facing dog, shifting your gaze to the top of the mat, you can choose to walk, step, or if you're ready, even hop. Top of the mat, Utkatasana, chair pose. Very good. So I don't mind what position your arms are in. They can be up by your ears, boxed, hands at heart or in front, irrelevant. But find your seat, breathe into your back for 3, for 2, forward fold. Sweep the hands behind you, clasping the hands, opening up through the shoulders. And you really want to create space in your neck, so shoulders pull back away from your ears, and then the hands can move away from the back. for 3, 2, release the hands, sweep past the feet, reach up to the ceiling, take an inhale, light back bend, and exhale, you fold. Half lift, inhale, and exhale, step or float back, plank position. Take your flow, your own rhythm. Very good. So from your downward facing dog, I just want to you to place your knees down for a moment, and we're going to grab our block or the prop that we're going to choose to step over, whether it's a book, a water bottle, anything. So, do you know where we're headed with this, Sharon? Yeah? So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to get you from downward facing dog to tap your upper thigh with the block, and that's where we're going to first place the block underneath the upper thighs. So come to your downward facing dog. Now that block, we're going to place it on the flattest setting to be kind. So yes, somewhere now a little bit further back, Sharon, just for now. Yes, so you want to tap it first up in line with your upper thighs, and if this is way too easy, then we move it closer toward the chest or the nose. So inhale, your right leg lifts. Now first of all, I just want to get the hip open. So bend your knee, peel open your hip, 3-legged dog. So you're rolling open that right hip, pressing that left heel down to the floor, and today I do want your shoulders stable. So if you notice that right shoulder tipping up, yes, square it back off. Lovely. Take one more inhale here. Knee to your nose, exhale. Very good. Kick back, inhale, lengthen. Knee to your nose, exhale. Good. Kick back, in breath. Now exhale, knee to your nose, we step over the block. Very good. And rise up, crescent lunge. So some of you would have been like, oh dear, I just kicked that block. Sharon had no problems because I made her restrain herself and place it further back. We are going to practice again, but if that was easy for you, we are going to move the block forward. So when you're ready, hands to the floor. The fun part is here, tiger curl. You've got to round the back like cat, get the foot over the block. Don't go around, go over. Sharon was good, she went over. So place your foot back down on the floor. Now we're going to do it again one more time, but can you bring it, yes, closer to your nose, just a little bit. Sharon's gone a lot. Let's see how she goes. She's familiar with this. So we want to challenge ourselves, but yes, you might give it a little tap. We're trying to avoid that tap, and don't go around it. Inhale, right leg lifts. Just once this time, knee to nose. You're going to tiger curl, round the back, step for foot over. Oh, good, crescent lunge. Rising up. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Breathe into your body. So that hopefully gets the core working, the hip flexors working, and the shoulders working. Often we're good at sweeping the foot around rather than going through the midline, which can work more for our core. Very good. This is going to be the funner part. Hands to the floor. Plant the palms. Can you pull that heel to your bum? Get over the block, not around it. Good work. Step that foot back to down dog. Take a big inhale through your nose. Release through your mouth. Inhale. And out. Well done. From here, I want you to shuffle the block off to the side for a moment. We're going to give our arms a little bit of a rest. Shift the gaze to the top of the mat. Malasana, your squat. So step or hop the feet outside the hands. Beautiful. So in your Malasana today, you have options. Either way, I want you to not sink the bottom down to the floor too much. Yes, but keep a bit of lift so your feet push into the floor and you're pulling up through your pelvic floor, not just dumping as deep as you can into the squat. Hands can be wherever you wish. They can be at your heart in prayer. They could be reaching out in front with the palms turned to the ceiling. Or if you want something stronger, they can be up by the ears, reaching up to the ceiling. Optional layer indeed, yes. For 3, for 2. Well done, forward fold. Just let the feet stay comfortably wide. And yes, you need to parallel those feet a little bit rather than having them turned out. And just notice how it feels to forward fold. Breathe into your back. Lovely. When you're ready, we're going to bring those feet to a more comfortable distance. Roll up through standing from spinal flexion back to extension. Arms reach up and wide. Inhale. Yes, add the back bend if you like. Exhale, fold down to the earth. half lift, inhale, back to your plank, optional vinyasa. Do it as you wish, add things as you wish. Wonderful. From your down dog, we reclaim our block. And that block, we might start with tapping it to the thighs, somewhere underneath that area. Remember, we're doing 2 different placements of the block. So when you're ready, inhale, left leg lifts, bend the knee, peel open the hip, and working into that 3-legged dog first. And yes, shoulders are nice and stable today. Squaring off so you get that bit of spinal twist going on with the movement. One more full deep breath in that opening. Long exhale. And now in breath, lengthen your leg, knee to nose, exhale, 3 tiger curls, kick back, inhale. So if possible, you're getting very light on that back foot, knee to nose, light, light, light. Kick back, in breath. Good, knee to nose, light round the spine, step through, chest opens to the front, crescent lunge. Very good. Shoulders drop away from the ears, and to work those hip flexors, maybe that tiny bend of the knee. Beautiful. When you're ready, hands to the floor. We want to miss that block. So when you're ready, round the spine over, kick the leg up and back. Very good. Foot to the floor. Let's move that block a little closer to the nose. Now, not too much, just a bit. And so we really want to work on the core muscles, the shoulders, getting over that block. Inhale, left leg lifts. Knee to the nose, over the block, step through. Well done, rise up. Lovely. And that little, well done. Little bend in the knees, getting that bit of space in the psoas and that right hip. How are your shoulders feeling? How's your core feeling? Beautiful. When you're ready, hands down to the floor. Now, round the spine. You've got to plug that heel into your buttock and get over and kick up and back. Beautiful. Foot to the floor. Shuffle that block out from underneath you. Throughout the class, I want you to feel as though that block is still there. That's very important. Shift the gaze to the top of the mat. Utkatasana, chair pose. Lovely. So from your Utkatasana here, you have the option to be working into a crow pose, which is a spinal flexion pose, or just taking a forward fold recovery. So with your crow, that's what I'll guide. You need to, yes, get those knees into the triceps, shift the gaze well forward, and you can see how much she has rounded her back. So it's a spinal flexion pose, like your cat. Heels into your buttocks. Notice your breath and look well forward of your mat. Don't just look down. For 3, 2, option to spring back, step back. Well done. Option to add the flow. Lovely. Downward facing dog. Take a big inhale through your nose. Release through your mouth. A big inhale and exhale. Once more. Exhale. Lovely. Inhale, your right leg lifts up. Bend your knee, peel open your hip. Gorgeous. Opening up, just taking one more deep breath. Lovely. On your exhale, knee to nose. Round the spine, cat, cat, cat. Kick back, in breath. Knee to your right arm. You can take Koundinyasana if that's on the menu, or just touch. Whenever you are ready, kick up and back. And in your own time, remember the block is still there. Step over that block, place the foot. Crescent lunge, you reach up. Very good. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Notice your breath. Very good. From here, hands come behind your back, clasping the hands, opening up the chest, a little bit of a back bend. So this is a variation of humble warrior. So the back heel won't touch the floor, forward fold. So it's much more challenging for your balance. So you have the choice, if it's too challenging for the balance, to keep the spine extended, or yes, as Sharon is doing, she's going to flexion, chin tucking in and rounding through the spine. For 3, for 2, warrior 2, unravel, roll that left arm back, drop the heel, gorgeous. Right palm turns up, exalt your warrior, inhale.
Trikonasana, exhale, working into a bit of love for the hamstrings and opening up through the chest. So in your Trikonasana, that beautiful extension or lengthening through the spine. Notice your breath. Yeah, gorgeous, Sharon. So you're just noticing, where is that neck comfy? Does it feel good to look up at the top thumb, to look forward, or even drop the ear toward the other shoulder? Whatever feels good. For 3, for 2, unravel back, warrior 2. We take one more, exalt, and this time half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So we're shifting the weight forward, yes, and your fingertips might come to the floor or to blocks or even to nothing at all. So your option here is to stay in this shape, or Chapasana, bending the knee, taking hold of the foot and working into, yes, your Chapasana shape. For 3, for 2, whenever you are ready, warrior 2, soft landing, placing that foot and unravel back. Well done. Cycle the hands to the floor, lizard pose, wiggle your right foot outside your right hand. So with this variation, I'm interested in opening up the quads a little more. So it's up to you if you want to place that left knee down and just add a twist. So right hand coming to your right thigh and opening up for an expression there. Or if you're going for that bending of the back knee and taking hold of the foot, twisted monkey grip. If you prefer left hand on the floor, left forearm on the floor, that's really up to you. But we're just interested in opening up through those quadriceps a little bit. You might be experimenting with heel toward your buttock. Or what happens if you kick that foot back and open up the chest? Very good. Well done. If you've got that back foot, release that foot, both hands to the floor. Tuck the back toes back to your plank position, feet to touch. Yes. Rolling onto the outside blade of your left foot, stack your right foot on top. Lovely. So if this is too strong, you do the kneeling variation with the left knee to the floor. Otherwise, right arm reaches up, side plank. So from here, a little bit of an option to float that right foot to the ceiling. Now, this is a little different. Let's see how we go. Can you bend that right knee? Take hold of the foot behind you, side plank dancer. Oh, I know, Sharon. I didn't warn you about that. We're going to give her another chance because this is a total surprise, and I'm sure you at home are finding this a surprise too. Yes, side plank dancer. I know, it's hard, isn't it? Well done, good, good. Try once more. She's ambitious. Good, and even if you don't get the foot, yes. And if you fall, the best thing is wild thing. So that's the best thing about that. You can always be like, I'm cool, I was just going to wild thing. Well done. Sweep it back, full vinyasa if you wish, or just take a rest. So you have a choice with a recovery between sides. Do you want to take a down dog, a child's pose, a dolphin? We like to surprise the body. When we surprise the body, so that variation of side plank there, where you're thinking, oh my God, will I find that foot? What on earth is this shape? What happens is when you surprise the body, when you next come to side plank, traditional side plank, it's so much easier. So you throw yourself in the deep end of the pool, and when you come back to the shallows, it's easy again. Or it's easy. So, or easier at least. So that's the idea of when I throw in bizarre things like that. Ideally, when we come back to the shallower end, we go, I've advanced myself. I've done something that was maybe a little more challenging, and I've enhanced my practice. Take one more full deep breath into your back, and a long exhale. Well done. Downward facing dog whenever you are ready. Between, we take a little flow, shift the gaze to the top of the mat. That's it. Downward facing dog. In your own time, left leg will lift. Bend the knee, peel open that hip, keep the shoulders square. Very good. One more inhale. Knee to nose on the exhale, round the spine, really tiger curl. Inhale, kick back. When you're ready, touch your left tricep. Some of you are working Koundinyasana, others tapping. Kick back in breath. Very good. When you're ready, bring that knee over the imaginary block, step through. Wonderful. Rise up, that crescent lunge. Shoulders drop away from the ears, fingers active. Gorgeous. Hands behind your back, clasp the hands, spinal extension, little back bend. We take it to flexion, round your back. Now keep pushing through that back heel and that will stop you from coming off balance. Some of you might look at that right foot as a little reminder to keep pushing through that leg for stability. Rounding, chin tucks for 3, 2, warrior 2. Unravel and open up. Gorgeous. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Left palm turns up. Exalt the warrior, lateral flexion. And then Trikonasana. Straighten out that left leg and tip. We just need a little bit of prep in our hamstrings for our half moon. So as you open up through the chest, just finding out where that neck is comfy. Yeah, what feels good. And often in the practice, we're not going for what we're told to do or what a textbook says is the right thing to do. You're much more interesting than a textbook. Warrior 2, wind your way back up, unravel. Exalt once more. Use the counter leverage now, half moon. You tip forward, float that left foot off, and left fingertips might be on the floor, on block, or on nothing. Option for Chapasana, bending the knee. And if you find that foot, you kick the foot back to open up through the chest. For 3, for 2, warrior 2. When you're ready. Well done. Good work. Cycle the hands to the floor. Wiggle the left foot out to the edge of the mat. And you have any choice here. Those of you who know lizard can do whatever you want with it. But some of us will work to the twist. Left hand on thigh. That might be enough. Or bending right knee, taking hold of foot and working into your monkey grip. Whether your right hand, right forearm is on the floor is up to you. And again, you're just working wherever is comfortable with that neck. Today we're certainly working a lot of work through the quads, the hip flexors, both front body and back body. Wonderful. Both hands to the floor. I'm going to take a moment to reclaim stability. Tuck the back toes back to your plank position. Very good. So reclaiming that stability. Rolling onto the outside blade of your right foot, left foot stacks on top, side plank, left arm reaches up. Remember, if this is too strong, right knee is on the floor. Left foot floats to the sky. Now, option to bend that knee. Can you try and take a hold of the foot? Yes, you will wobble. If you get that foot, you try to back bend. Well done, Sharon. Opening up. Good. For 3, 2, maybe it goes to wild thing. That's an option. Opening up, hips to ceiling for 3, 2, sweep it back. Vinyasa is optional. Well done. Down dog. Now, if your arms are still feeling good for it, of course you can go to dolphin. Otherwise, heart melting pose is an option. Knees to the floor, walking the hands forward, or of course, child's pose might be totally sufficient. So it's really up to you if you're in that heart melting pose, if the chin or the forehead is to the floor. If it feels as though you're really crunching uncomfortably into the back of the neck with the chin on floor, place the forehead down. It is enough. Either way, you're opening up through your chest, your armpits. Work your spine here with breath. Two more breaths. It's up to you if you're going through your tummy or through child's pose. Just go where the pleasure is, go where is comfy, and take a moment just to breathe, to lengthen. So where we're headed next might be more just lengthening through the hip flexors. Some of you, it might be working into a little bit of arm balance play. I haven't told Sharon about this one, so it'll be, oh no, she'll be good. It'll be good. I think we've done this one together before, Sharon. So when you're ready, I want you to tuck your hands by your chest, tuck your way back to down dog in your own time. No rush. Very good. So from your down dog, inhale, your right leg lifts. Bend your knee, peel open your hip. Of course, if a flip calls you, you can flip your dog. Otherwise, feel free to hold. Hips high, heart open for 3, 2, sweep it back when you're ready. Lizard pose. Step the right foot again back outside the hand. Now, from here, you might place your knee on or off the floor. For our sake, let's have the back knee off the floor, Sharon, and we'll work from there just to see if it's more helpful. So we're going to try now holding onto the ankle with the right hand and tucking that arm or shoulder underneath the leg. So what we're working here for is a variation of an arm balance. So what I want you to do from here is now walk your hands forward of your foot. So yes, you're going to get onto the very ball of your back foot. So you're going to walk, 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 and you're going to be ending up, yes, just as Sharon's doing there, squeezing, yes, that arm with that leg. So you can see she's on the very ball of that right foot and she's floated that left foot off the floor. So this is a deep spinal flexion pose. So yeah, keep going, it's great. So she's up on the ball of her right foot, her leg is wrapped around her arm and lifting the left leg. For those of you who aren't going into this, I want you to just be in that lizard, stretching your hips. For 3, 2, well done. Let that foot place down, back knee down. Good. You can unloop yourself, unpretzel yourself. Very good. I want you from here to just keep your hands inside your shoulder. Peel your right knee open, kneeling 3-legged dog now. So you can, yes, that's it. Keep that left knee down, peel that right hip open, bend the knee. Yes, peeling open through that hip. Wonderful. And just notice your breath. Gorgeous. There is an option here, just as a little cheeky addition, as a balance pose, if you want to lengthen your left arm forward here, and then sweep that left arm back to take hold of the foot. So we're back where we were in the warm-up for the practice. So this next part requires both spinal flexion and extension. You can try, see how you go. What happens if I ask you to tuck your left toes under down dog dancer? Yes, well done, good. And you're going to maybe fall out wobble. Some of you at home are like, my brain cannot even compute how to do this. And you can do what Sharon just did. And from the down dog, you can even try from there. Working that right leg lifted, the left hand reaching back. This is all very cheeky, guys. This is very playful. Don't worry if you're not quite getting there. Well done. I want you to just take a reset now, whether that reset for you is in down dog, dolphin, child's pose. Breathe into your back. Well done. In your own time, inhale, your left leg lifts. Bend your knee, peel open your hip, 3-legged dog. No rush if you're still joining us. Flip was optional. Letting that foot come over, heart open, hips high for 3, for 2. Sweep it back. Well done. Lizard pose. Left foot steps outside your left hand. Gorgeous. So we're going to, from here, start prepping for that variation of the arm balance. So it's not really an arm balance because your left foot stays on the floor, but it's a great prep. So I want you from here to now wrap your hand around your left ankle, tuck your left elbow or left shoulder underneath. Yes, back knee off the floor will be helpful. Now, you can't just lift off from here. You now need to, as Sharon is going to, walk the hands forward. Walk, walk, walk. And then when you're you're ready, that right leg lifts off the floor. So your arms are in chaturanga, your gaze is forward, and you're up on the very ball of that left foot. Breathe. Wonderful. Well done. Take your time placing that leg down. You'll need to unravel yourself, plant the palms, and kneeling three-legged dog. Just lengthening that left back, bending the knee, opening up the hip for just a little bit of a counter expression through the hip. And yes, if you want to sweep that right hand back to find the foot, you can. Now, you tuck the right toes under. It involves a little bit of oomph. Push the left hand in the floor, pull up through the core. That's it. Well done. And Sharon did something very, very instinctive there. She pulled the heel to her buttock in order to lift up. Very helpful. Good. Well done. And if you come out, if you fall out, we'll set up again, even from down dog to experiment. You can lift that left leg. And you can walk the hands and feet closer together if it helps. Just don't make it a standing split. Good. Well done. This is all a bit of an experiment. Well done. And I hope when you fall out, instead of using bad language like shit, fuck, you're actually able to laugh at yourself. I really hope your children aren't in the same room, by the way. Sorry if they are. All right, when you're ready, we are going to come to seat. So I want you to take, yes, either a flow through or sit your bum down. No, you don't need to do that. So we're going to work a bit of seated forward fold. So with your seated forward fold today, let's come into Koundinyasana. Your right foot comes into your inner left thigh. Very good. And just making sure you're comfortably on your sit bones. You lengthen up on that in-breath. And exhale when you're ready. You fold. So now we start moving downhill. So just allowing your body to soften and really exploring that spinal curve or flexion. Deep breaths. Can the breath move more into your back? From spinal flexion, rounding your back. I want you to slowly roll up to seat. Right hand next to your right hip, stargazer, back to flexion. Sweep the left arm, or extension I should say, opening up for 3, 2, and when you're ready, bottom back down to the floor. Lovely, easy switch. Koundinyasana, second side. In your own time, you're lengthening up and working your forward fold. Whether you're using one hand, both, whether your hands touch your feet, whether they caress the leg or the floor is irrelevant. It's up to you if you're exploring more curve through the spine or lengthening the spine. Go where the pleasure is. How's the neck? Just exploring what it feels like to relax that neck for the last couple of breaths. And in your own time, slowly, slowly, you sit up. Left hand outside your left hip, right arm sweeps overhead, up onto that left knee. You come into stargazer, heart open for 3, 2, and booty down. Well done. Lengthen your legs out. The arms reach out toward the front of the space, and slowly we lower onto the back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let yourself drop. You might even reach those arms back overhead to open up through the abdominals that just had to engage in flexion. So I think we're going to work a bit of both. Yes, we have time, so we're going to work both an extension and then a flexion before we finish the practice. So our extension, bridge pose, you're going to bend the knees, bring those heels in towards your buttocks, and the fingertips might barely scrape the heels if they wish. Very good. We work up into our bridge in your own time, pressing the feet into the floor, slowly working up through the spine, hips to ceiling. So there is some engagement in your butt, but if your butt is squeezing super tight, can you observe what happens if those muscles in the glutes relax a little bit and the quads and the hamstrings do more work as you push the feet into the floor? Your options here might be to clasp the hands under the back and tuck the shoulders deeper underneath. Good work. If you're feeling as though full wheel is calling you today, of course you can head toward full wheel, but that is entirely optional. You're just really going where it feels good for you today. So if the full back bend feels good, hands by the ears, press the feet into the floor. That's it, crown of the head, and then lift up. So beautiful, whether your heels or, yeah, that's it, Sharon, that's gorgeous. So sometimes working on the balls of the feet can feel nicer than keeping the heels on the earth. So you'll just work into that back bend for as little or as long as you like. And just take a reset when you're ready. Whether you're going to keep the knees bent, whether you choose to windscreen wipe the legs, hug the legs in, it really doesn't matter. I just want you to go where it's instinctive, where it feels good. Now, if you feel as though legs to the ceiling or legs up the wall, Viparita Karani, and if you're at home and you've got a spare wall, my goodness, it's one of my favorite things to do. You can totally work there. You can do it in the middle of the space as Sharon's demonstrating here, either with the sacrum just on the floor or sacrum on a block or a towel. Now, other option is shoulder stand, Sharon. If you want to go there, you can, but if you prefer not to, there's no need to demonstrate. So I just want you to go where feels good for you. So shoulder stand is your other option, which is one of the deepest spinal flexions that there is in a yoga practice because it works with gravity and really works into curving that upper spine and neck. I want you to be very mindful as it is early in the day, and usually our spine needs time to lengthen. A little bit of spinal education. If you imagine that in between your vertebrae are these little gel marshmallows. These little gel marshmallows, basically, when you're asleep, when you're lying down for the night, these gel marshmallows, basically, they soften and they kind of lose their puff. And then what happens as we move throughout the day, the spine learns that it needs to lengthen. And so gradually, these marshmallows start to puff and lengthen and give you more space along your vertebrae, more space along your spine. So for me, when I go to a 6 a.m. class and shoulder stand is offered, no go for my spine, unfortunately, because it's just still too tight and short. For some of you, it's 8 a.m. now, you might have been up a little while, and your spine might feel really comfortable and fantastic in the morning with working an extension, a flexion like your shoulder stand. So those of you who've been working through shoulder stands or variations, you take your time, whether you're working through plow, through deaf man's, adding things in as you need. Some of you might feel, as Sharon is, a little more warmed up to move into her deaf man's or plow. Just noticing how your spine is responding to this deep, deep flexion. And those of you still with Viparita Karani, legs up the wall, enjoy. So for those of you who're working through plow, maybe deaf man's, whatever feels good, it'll be whenever you're ready, you work through what you need to do before you start to lower out. And you might be transitioning to your fish pose, which again is working from your flexion back into extension of the spine. So you're working from, yeah, good, all good, it's the morning. And then you might work into, yes, the opposite. So your fish pose, Sharon's working here, palms under the buttocks, she's up on the forearms, working that back bend extension, throat open. Very good. For 3, for 2. Well done. In your own time, release. So This is when I ask you to go where it's instinctive to. So whether you choose to lay on your back immediately in Shavasana, or whether it feels good to hug your knees back in for a little bit of a cuddle or a happy baby, or even a twist, we're all very different. So whether you choose to stay and head straight into that rest, or whether you want to neutralize the spine in other ways, feel free. So just as I brought Sharon, if you, for your Shavasana, once you've finished neutralizing the spine with maybe that twist or that cuddle, if you want to find something to keep yourself warm through this Shavasana, please do. And please do stay for the Shavasana. I know how tempting it is because you're home to be like, all right, I've got lots to do today, I'm gone. If you can, stay with us. This time is very important. You've just done a nice strong practice for your spine, working the juices through the spine, through both rounding and extending. And hopefully there's a lot more blood flow along that spine, and that those little marshmallows between the vertebrae that I was speaking of, hopefully they've really started to plump up and get juicy. So throughout the day you're going to feel more open and taller and more comfortable in your postural alignment. Similar to what I discussed on Tuesday evening, if you joined me then, I was driving my car to the shops this week, and I was listening to a commercial radio station. And it was beautiful and refreshing because one of the presenters popped up and said, usually in this 3-minute slot, what we'd be doing is a song and some ads. But what we're going to do today is some mindfulness. And she went on to say, I'm going to ask you a question. It's a question that we ask each other frequently, and sometimes we're not really invested in the answer. And when we are asked ourselves, what we often give is an autopilot answer. I think you might have an idea what this question is. How are you? So often, the autopilot response, or the response we think others want to hear, is good, yeah, great, wonderful, yeah, I'm fine, yeah, good, with that kind of upbeat, upward inflection. But what I'd like you to do now is ask yourself that question, seeking a deeper layer, a more honest layer. How are you? Really? How are you? For me, on the day I was driving my car and listening to the radio, I realized it was quite positive. I realized, I'm actually doing much better today than I was a week ago. But then yesterday, I had to ask myself this question. Really, how are you? Because I didn't feel so crash hot. And that's the thing. What you are feeling today, you might not feel tomorrow. What you feel in this few minutes of meditation, you might not even feel in the next hour. It's all temporary, and it does pass. It does change. What we ideally don't want to be doing is avoiding the question. Meditation brings us closer to our actual state, who we are, how we feel. Even if it's not what we'd describe as a pleasant or good emotion, we are more aware of ourselves, and that's what yoga is, awareness. Coming closer to who am I and how am I truthfully. I want you in your own time to just bring a little movement into your fingers, into your toes, and just starting to introduce into the body any movement that might feel appealing, whether it's stretching your arms back overhead, take all the time you need to roll over onto your right hand side and slowly press yourselves up into a seat. Crossing your ankles, resting your hands at your knees. And just here, a really subtle bit of energetic work, soothing work. I want you to use your sit bones as an access point and just circle, spiral. And it can be really subtle. This is not about working any muscles. This is something for your energetic and nervous systems. And you might want to close your eyes so you can become a little more internal. This is called spiraling. It is a somatic exercise, somatic therapy. Ideally, it is soothing for the nervous system. Change direction and circle the other way. It is good for the juices in the spine that we have so beautifully worked. I want you to now allow those circles to become a little smaller and a little slower and far more subtle, and smaller and slower again, and smaller and slower and more subtle again, until gradually there's very, very little movement in the external body, but there's still a little light stir internally. Bring your palms to touch. Bring your thumbs to your eyebrow center for kind thoughts. Thumbs to your lips for kind words, and thumbs to your heart center for kind actions. Be kind whenever possible.
It is always possible.